last decade leading ILM Immersive, transforming the traditional storytelling experience into what she calls story living, where audiences don't just watch, but actively participate in the narrative. Vicki will take us through ILM's groundbreaking work, including her Emmy-winning collaboration with Marvel Studios for the What If, an Immersive Story. This keynote embodies the spirit of Infinity Festival by showing us how immersive storytelling can redefine entertainment. I'm super excited to have you here today, and thank you so much. I will let you lead the way.
Thank you so much, Jessica. This is a little unusual setup for me, so I'm sitting doing a keynote, but we'll give it a go. The slides. I thought the previous panel was awesome, and actually I hope that some of what I'm saying will actually be reflected of those comments. So I'm really excited to be here. This is actually, I think I've been with the Infinity Festival since the very beginning, and every year I think it gets more interesting and better, so props to Mark Lieber and his team. So for those of you that don't know me, this is my 32nd year at Lucasfilm. My career has really been distinguished by a drive for innovation, and specifically innovation in support of storytelling. So where better to do that than at Lucasfilm, under George Lucas, who is one of the greatest, who created one of the greatest universes ever brought to life. So when I started at ILM, we had just finished Willow, and we were in production on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And at that time, there were 6 computer graphic artists on the same hall as I. And now there are 5 studios with several thousand artists worldwide. So today I wanted to talk about 3 things. First, the opportunity in immersive entertainment and what that really means for us. The second is what is immersive entertainment and how has our work evolved over time. And then finally, some key trends, trends that are important to us as we look toward the future. So first, the opportunity. A number of years ago, I was introduced to this book called The Blue Ocean Strategy by Kim Library, who I think is going to be here today. And basically, the premise of the Blue Ocean Strategy is that your goal is not to, well, when you're in shark-infested waters, which is essentially what visual effects have become, where you're competing on cost, and it has become commoditized, the goal is to redefine the competitive landscape and transition to a blue ocean. So that was really our mission. And we saw in 2015 these immersive technologies coming online. So virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and so forth. And we felt that these were going to disrupt traditional forms of entertainment, and that they were going to give us new ways to tell stories, to establish emotional connections, and really have an impact. So that became our blue ocean. That was really what gave birth to what was called ILM X Lab and is now ILM Immersive. For us, it was a new canvas. So I love this quote from by Ursula K. Le Guin, and if you've heard me speak before, you will certainly have heard it. But there have been great societies that did not use the wheel, but there have been no societies that did not tell stories. So stories are as much a part of us as life itself, and so when there's new ways to tell stories, we felt we should be there embracing those. So our initial mission and vision was quite simple. Invite our guests to step inside our stories in ways never before possible. And that has actually evolved now to this idea of transitioning from storytelling, which is essentially one-way communication, to this much bigger idea of story living, where you're in a world making meaningful choices that drive the narrative forward. So now, immersive entertainment. What is it? Well, it's a big and growing opportunity. This is a chart that shows the growth in the market. You can see it's a substantial growth. I believe it's like a 24% compounded annual growth rate between 2024 and 2030. What is immersive entertainment? Well, it also involves a lot of two-letter words. The first is VR. And essentially VR allows us to transport people to other worlds. When we started this, virtual reality was in fact the device of the day. And a lot of times when people talk about immersive entertainment, they were literally speaking about VR. So one of my favorite experiences that we did in the early days was actually a location-based experience that we did with the Void, and they often called it a hyper-reality experience. So that's where the physical world matches the digital world. So in the digital world, if you saw a wall and you reached out and touched it, there was actually a wall there. And that one-to-one mapping really causes your brain to completely buy into that alternate reality. You could also, because you control 100% of the environment, you can invoke all of the senses. So what you see, what you hear, what you smell, maybe one day what you taste, but not in ours. So this next video was actually created on the first day that the experience opened up at Downtown Disney, and listen to the way people actually felt like they were in the world of Star Wars.
I've been wanting to step into a Star Wars movie for as long as I could remember, and I think getting to see that and touch that and feel that really put me in that film unlike anything else ever has, and it was a dream come true, really.
If you ever really want to be in Star Wars, the Void is where you're going to go to do that.
We got to be characters in the movie. You can't get that anywhere else.
You can't get it anywhere else. From the minute you walked in and have the briefing from Captain Cassian, it's like you're in Rogue One.
I mean, you were walking right there where Anakin became Darth Vader, and it was incredible. It was transformative.
The moment when we picked up our blasters, and then the guy that we were with accidentally fired his, and so then all the alarms went off, and we're like, oh my God!
The thing Void does that's really cool is you reach out and you can actually touch the walls around you.
Okay, if you want to feel like you're actually in a Star Wars movie, you need to come do this.
If you've never experienced it, it's undescribable, so it's like, how do I describe this to you? You just have to go, you just got to do it.
So whereas VR allows us to transport you to different worlds, AR actually allows all of us to see our world differently. Project Jigsaw is actually an experiment that we undertook. It's a project that we had envisioned a few years ago, and it's a direction that I'm really genuinely excited about. This was a piece of concept art that we created initially, and it really is meant to embody the idea of story living at city scale or world scale, where the digital and the real world are sort of blending seamlessly together. We envisioned it in 3 different phases. Phase 1 was kind of just to prove out the tech and the concept. Phase 2, we envisioned having AR glasses, and at that time we wanted to incorporate what we called AI-like characters. And of course, what happened is that AI-like characters are actually becoming a reality before the glasses. And then the final phase would be what we called epic AR, where it is literally crossing platforms, allowing people to participate in many different ways, maybe in large events, maybe remotely, but there are different ways for them to engage. And this next video really tries to capture our aspirations and what we've accomplished in the first phase.
X Lab was founded as Lucasfilm's immersive storytelling studio and an innovation hub because we believed then, and we continue to believe, that innovation in storytelling matters.
Bright Suns, visitors!
We've been leaning into this idea of transitioning from storytelling to this much bigger idea of story living, where you're in a world making meaningful choices that drive the narrative forward. To demonstrate the potential, we undertook a unique experiment, Project Jigsaw. The name choice was intentional because we were putting together pieces of technology in an entirely new way for the purpose of telling stories.
Jigsaw is our idea for AR content at sort of a city scale or global scale. It really elevates the medium through interactive AR storytelling at near cinematic quality, as evidenced by shadows, reflections, and occlusion. This allows the digital and real worlds to blend seamlessly together and creates destinations where you can meaningfully interact with characters in a new way that's never been achievable until now.
Oh, the race is about to start!
The Jigsaw story starts with an encounter between Mubo and Pip, and they're working to try to get their pod racer ready for a race.
They're going to use the winnings to help the resistance. Unfortunately, their pod ends up sabotaged.
Oh no! It looks like your pod racer is having some problems.
And that's where you come in to help rescue the pit droid crew that's been captured by the First Order.
One pit droid free, one more to go.
The biggest challenge for the Jigsaw project was the outdoor environment.
We're using our campus as the setting.
It's an engineering-heavy project, matching the lighting of the scene. People can walk in front of it. Position of the sun is correct so that the shadows match the shadows in the world.
We want it to look as real as possible. We want it to fit into the environment.
As long as you have basic modern phones and tablets, you will be able to do this experience.
Our content really is always there and always on, and people can just walk up and experience it.
With some help, we got the pit droids back and Pip is back in the race.
For future phases of Jigsaw, the goal and dream is bigger on all fronts. Bigger spaces, more people.
We want to be able to have thousands or millions of people within the same city participating in these events, so we can actually tell story arcs that might last, say, 6 months at a time and culminate in a big event somewhere.
While our story about a pod racer named Pip is a simple one, its power to spark the imagination with future possibilities is significant. The world itself can become our storytelling canvas as we continue to pioneer new ways to tell stories, establish emotional connections, and create lasting memories. Our fans can truly step inside our stories as never before.
So MR has been used, mixed reality has been used to mean a lot of different things over the years. But I think with the introduction of the Quest and the Apple Vision Pro, it's starting to mean that that seamless transition between VR and AR. So most recently, we released What If, an immersive story with Marvel Studios. And this was a really interesting project. It was for the Apple Vision Pro. It took its inspiration from the streaming series What If, which deals with questions like, what if Iron Man was a bad guy? You know, what if? And so it was kind of the perfect premise to explore the world of mixed reality and to actually create an interactive episode. With this project, we've essentially moved from kind of 2D story narrative to what I call 3D story living. One of the big questions for us was what was the balance between sort of narrative and interactivity? And because we wanted to lean into the film and television audience more than the traditional gaming audience, we tried to be very careful, not introduce too many ways to engage, although there were quite a few, 6. But the way it was set up is if you chose not to engage for whatever reason, it would actually, they call it sort of fail through in the gaming world, but it would, the story would continue. So you were never in a situation where you died or, you know, the experience stopped. This next video, I think, really tries to capture the exploration and our aspirations for the project.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibilities.
What if an immersive story? It's the alchemy of so many things, of technology, of storytelling in a completely new form.
Emerging technologies allow fans to literally step into the world of Marvel.
It mixes the idea of linear 2D storytelling and mixed reality as a medium inside of a linear 2D story. It really is an exploration of the possibilities that this new form of storytelling can open up.
Master Wall, good to see you.
We really tried to innovate on a lot of different fronts. Just the fact that this is a mixed reality experience, I think we haven't seen something like that to this scale. Having the ability to have stylized, high-quality CG characters in your living room that are speaking to you, that are head tracking to you.
Hey, you, hero.
It was really fun to bring that to life. And of course, being able to, without controllers, really create these authentic mechanics that no one had ever really seen before.
What if an immersive story? It's one where you get to live as the central protagonist, because that's what if is all about. You have been chosen.
You want me to give these spells to this person?
You are the hero of the multiverse. You have real agency, and all of the characters acknowledge your existence, and you are in those scenes with them and have roles to play as all of these kind of events play out.
Really what we tried to do is explore these love stories between Thanos and his world, which is dying, a young teenage Hela who is being asked to be a warrior and just wants to be a girl hanging out with her dog, and a Steve Rogers character who really does want to do what's right and isn't given that opportunity. For us to have Laura and her team develop the score was massive, because sound, we all know how important it is to overall storytelling experience.
The player is the hero.
Let's go, first year.
That was the kind of starting out point. How can we create, in essence, a heroic theme for the player? This was so revolutionary and filled with so many opportunities that we could define how we use sound in this new space.
I think for me, what our story stands for is the future of storytelling. We get to invent this entirely new form of entertainment, this entirely new form of exploring our world, of living in it and what that's like. And I think it only means that we get to tell bigger and broader stories from a multitude of perspectives.
We're just really scratching the surface of when your living room becomes part of the stage. There's just a lot of opportunity to imagine all new forms of narrative.
The story has an emotional impact, but you, as the person in the story, truly matter.
I must admit, they are more capable than they appeared.
Marvel's been around telling amazing stories for 85 years, and so it's unbelievable to continue to explore that world and to put people in position to feel like they're seen and like they're a part of a bigger world. It's an opportunity to look at how you tell stories in an entirely new way.
Choose wisely, hero of the multiverse.
It was a great project. It was very, very challenging, but it has been very well received. And since it was released at the end of May, it was awarded an Emmy for Outstanding Innovation in Emerging Media, and it was also invited to the Venice International Film Festival to be showcased in their Best of Immersive showcase. So XR. I use XR to mean all shades of reality, and that has come to mean many different things, both interactive and linear. So I think this is one of the bigger evolutions. So this is Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a project that ILM Immersive did in collaboration with Studio Lab, led by Alice Taylor, who's here in the front. And also obviously Marvel Studios, and with some help from Walt Disney Imagineering and Disneyland in terms of the cast and crew. But the goal here was to create, we know that establishing connection with compelling characters is going to be core the idea of story living and to bring that to life. So this was very interesting because the goal was to create a real-time rocket that people could directly interact with. You were essentially, a portal opened up, a time door, and you were able to communicate directly with rockets. So this was at D23, which is Disney's big conference, and people came through and talked to Rocket. It was very successful. The queue was 90 minutes. We had 10,000 people go through in 3.5 days. The big challenge of this was it had to be always on and up. So it was up for 34 hours, 10 hours a day. And the really amazing thing was that there were 5 actors who would work 30-minute shifts, and then they would swap out actors in 45 seconds. So this was possible because we were using markerless mocap, and it really sort of changes what is possible in terms of live interactions with characters. So this is a little bit of a few clips from D23.
Next batch, come on in. Step all the way across. Got some more folks coming in behind you. Come on in.
Oh, look at this crew coming in here. All right, good at taking orders, I see. These are the new recruits you've been talking about, huh? I like these new recruits. Yeah, very stoic. Just stand there.
Well, there is a TVA agent here who is, I think, about to prune me. So
Don't worry about her. She hasn't used that stick on anybody. I keep asking her to. She won't use it.
So sorry, I can't help you out. I'm getting arrested.
You're getting arrested?
Yeah, from the
Oh, yeah. Look, if you wind up at the kiln, I know a way out. Wait, there's a battery on the wall. You know what? I'll get to the information later.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I love that. I think there's tons of possibilities there. Now moving on to something a little different, ILM visual effects. So this one is linear content, but very immersive. They created the digital imagery for ABBA Voyage, which is in London. And this was really a desire by ABBA, who are now in their 70s, to basically create the performance they always dreamed of when they were in their 30s. So it's a pretty extraordinary project, and this next clip was the official first trailer. You have to enable content. Can you get the right corner? We tried this morning and it worked. That would be a big fail. So, honestly, has anybody seen ABBA Voyage? Because if you are ever in London, it's totally worth the. Did you like it? Yeah, it's pretty. The illusion is pretty astounding, and I think it has actually generated an incredible amount of interest in what's possible in the immersive music space. So I'm really looking forward to how that evolves. And if we can get this, I would love to show it to you, because the next one is also a YouTube clip. But I'll just kind of jump ahead so that I can set it up and move through quickly. We also, sort of inspired by what they saw with ABBA Voyage, KISS, who was doing their final concert at Madison Square Gardens, asked ILM to essentially conclude the performance by transforming them into avatars. And there's another clip which hopefully we'll be able to play. That looks promising if you just hit play. But in that clip, you really get a sense of why people are doing this. What is inspiring them to literally live on. And the truth is, there's some desire to create a lasting legacy and to be, in some regards, immortal. I wonder if you can just play it from there. Okay, well, you might have to find this on your own. I'm so sorry. It's pretty awesome, but maybe we should just move beyond that. Yeah, so that was Kiss. And like I said, they were really excited about this because they were able to leverage, technology in order to become immortal, and they use those words. So maybe go to the slide that says key trends, which is 40. Even if we have to do it this way, it'll be okay. I wanted to share some of the key trends that we keep in mind and that we're always observing because it's informing how we think about content in the future. I think you're now controlling it, so next slide. So first thing is that our relationship to reality is fundamentally changing. I mean, you've seen this in a number of the examples that I just gave. Next slide. So imagine a mixed reality future where, next slide. You can't go at all.
It's going really, really slow. I think that's the first part.
Okay. So some of the key trends, and maybe we'll get back to it, but just imagine a mixed reality future where there's a little girl who has a true character companion in BB-8, and she plays hide and seek with him, and she knows, because they do it often, they're friends, that he always hides in the hall closet. And when she grows up, when she's a young woman, she will always have that memory of her friend BB-8 hiding in the hall closet. And what's interesting about it is that becomes a real memory. And it's a blend of the digital and the physical worlds. We also worked on a project called Carne y Arena very early on, which was a very powerful experience that was the vision of Alejandro Inarritu. And it was so visceral that even when I think about it now, and it's probably been 8 years, it actually has it has a true emotional impact and a physical impact, which really reminded me of a lot of what was being said in the first panel. For those of you that don't know, Carne y Arena was a 6.5 minute piece where it was essentially a group of immigrants crossing the border from Mexico into the United States and getting caught. And you're in this scene with them. And it was so impactful, it actually was awarded a special Oscar for visionary and powerful storytelling in a new medium. So moving on from the mixed reality, another key